There are so many reasons people choose to take a paper at summer school.
And with 57 papers to choose from, there is a course to suit everyone.
Accelerate your degree by adding a semester into summer.
You might be a fresher wanting to get eyes on campus before first semester starts.
Study elsewhere via distance learning.
Summer School 2017 runs from the 9th of January to the 17th of February.
Enrolments are now open. Call 0800 8080 98 or email university@otago.ac.nz.
Summer School is an intensive learning experience. Enrol today.
Radio 1 91 FM presents Nocturne, 2 nights of shadowy symphonies on consecutive Fridays at the Fringe Festival Club.
The stacked lineup runs the gamut from doe-eyed guitar hooks, venomous lyricism, fervour-driven melodies to gooey dream pop.
Fridays 10th and 17th of March at the Festival Club, 20 Princes Street. Tickets available online at dunedinfringe.nz or just $5 at the door.
Presented by Radio 1 and curated by music director Erin Broughton, Nocturne showcases new and established projects that run the spectrum from woozy dream pop to immersive sonic opulence.
Nocturne, Festival Club Night, Fridays, curated by Erin Broughton.
These are the Radio 1 News headlines.
Hello everyone, my name is Julia and these are your 12 o'clock news headlines. Dunedin singer Kylie Price has been invited to represent New Zealand at the Texas Sounds International Country Music Awards next month. The Department of Conservation is investigating the gruesome death of a skinned Kiwi in Northland, and Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg and his wife want to wipe all disease off the planet by the end of this century. All of these stories and your weather are coming up at midday.
Внимание!
This is
Говорит
the Radio 1 News.
и показывает Москва.
Kia ora, good afternoon. My name is Julia and these are your 12 o'clock news stories. Dunedin singer Kylie Price has been invited to represent New Zealand at the Texas Sounds International Country Music Awards next month. The invitation to Texas is based on her winning performance at the 2013 Tamworth Country Music Festival in New South Wales. Price has previously won other awards such as the 2012 Golden Guitars Overall Prize as well as multiple Australian competitions in recent years. The 23-year-old was pleasantly surprised to know that she was recommended to the organisers by someone who saw her win at the Tamworth Festival. When she received the email from the Texas Awards officials, she thought the email must have been spam. But of course, as she read the email properly and followed it up, she knew it was legitimate. She said that I am the only New Zealand performer and only get one shot, a 45-minute performance. The competition starts on October 13th and goes for a week, including acts from at least 18 different countries. 4 years ago, in 2012, Price withdrew from the television New Zealand's Got Talent program as she refused to sign a contract that would allow the show exclusive rights to her music material. The Department of Conservation is investigating the gruesome death of a skinned Kiwi in Northland. A Northland man was horrified to discover the 8-month-old male brown Kiwi that had been plucked and hung on a fence. The man took photos of the dead bird and then notified DOC. A ranger came and collected the Kiwi and organised an autopsy. Deep bruising, puncture wounds, multiple rib and sternal fractures were described in the autopsy report, and it was clear that after it had died, someone had removed the bird's feathers. DOC's investigation team has been forwarded the matter. The Wildlife Act of 1953.
Внимание!
This is
Говорит
the Radio 1 News.
и показывает Москва.
Kia ora, good afternoon. My name is Julia and these are your 12 o'clock news stories. The Dunedin City Council was being accused of double standards after an employee's car was caught parking on yellow lines over a fire hydrant and too close to a bus stop. The vehicle was parked for over 1 hour on Main South Road in the Green Island area, while the employee was inside a nearby cafe. It was between 2 and 3 p.m. yesterday, and a bus was forced to park in the bus bay on an angle. Green Island woman Cody Sheridan, who worked at the cafe, sent photos to the Otago Daily Times as well as the council. She said that our customers have parked further back on those same yellow lines and have been ticketed by the DCCs. The Otago Daily Times received a response from the council late yesterday saying, "We will be following this up to find out who is responsible and what the circumstances were. DCC vehicles are treated like any other vehicles in terms of parking infringements." The women's Black Sticks hockey team were beaten by Great Britain 3-0 in the semi-final stage of the Rio Olympics this morning. They have missed out on their chance to play in the final, so will now face the Netherlands for bronze on Saturday morning New Zealand time. The Kiwi women were bitterly disappointed after being outplayed by the strong British side. Key Black Sticks striker Gemma Flynn admitted that "we should have been more clinical, we didn't stick to our structures." New Zealand had plenty of scoring opportunities and they looked the better team at points, but it was Great Britain who capitalised on their opportunities where it counted. All hopes for the Black Sticks were ended after the second penalty stroke was tucked away by the British. Flynn went on to say that "we have to put this to bed, we know what we've got to work on, keep our eyes and chins up." It was 4 years ago that Great Britain denied New Zealand the bronze medal at the London Olympics. Protests emerged on social media recently over claims that Google have removed Palestine from its map service. People have expressed their concern over Twitter this week. Some are confused as to why Palestine was not differentiated from Israel at all on Google Maps. Questions have been raised as to why powerful companies like Google document conflict zones. One tweet addressed to the company reads, "That was really, really unprofessional of you, Google. Palestine is here." Palestine's border is not labelled and is shown as a dotted line on Google Maps. Google claims that last week a bug erased the West Bank and Gaza Strip labels, but they are working to fix it. There have been approximately 30 other contested areas where it doesn't show a border at all. It was suggested that perhaps this was in an effort to avoid wars of national identity.
This is the Radio 1 weather.
The current temperature is just below 9 degrees with an expected high of 11 degrees approximately between now and 4 p.m. this afternoon. The expected low of 8 degrees will hit quite suddenly at around 8 p.m. tonight. All of these temperatures are accompanied by easterly and northeastern breezes of up to 7 kilometres an hour. Good afternoon, my name is Julia and these are your 12 o'clock news stories. A University of Otago researcher believes that achieving the government's aim of making New Zealand predator-free by 2025 will depend on a major technological breakthrough. The researcher is part of a Dunedin group that aims to have the Otago Peninsula pest-free by 2025 and think that the government's aim is a great line in the sand. They believe it is ambitious but achievable. Major improvements in trap technology have been made. However, there were large parts of New Zealand where it was not feasible to put traps, such as the isolated parts of Fiordland. Associative Yolanda van Hezet says the goal does seem to depend on there being a fairly major research breakthrough. She continued to explain that feral or pet cats are part of the reason why precious wildlife is being killed. In saying this, over the next 35 years, a change in the culture of cat ownership could make it possible to have a predator-free country as well as having pet cats. Consequently, this would involve cats becoming largely indoor pets. If the aim was met, there would be a marked difference in the number of wildlife in Dunedin. The group had killed around 10,000 possums in the peninsula area since 2011 and had already made a difference to bird life. Police are being issued out many fines on motorists not wearing seatbelts and using cell phones after a recent rise in the number of preventable deaths. Around 4 p.m. in Christchurch yesterday, police pulled over 40 drivers in the time of 1 hour and instant fines were issued. Police say that a recent spike in the number of deaths on the road due to people not wearing seatbelts and using cell phones had led them to launch Operation Habit. Last month on Queen's birthday, the driver involved in one Christchurch crash died when he lost control of his car and went through the windscreen. He was not wearing a seatbelt. There were several other instances over the Queen's birthday weekend where seatbelts were not being used.